Welcome to the 2021 Capitol Officials Association Baseball Rules Clinic number 6. I'm your host, Greg Stanley. Reminder that the rules test is opening Monday, March 29th. It's unlimited time. You have 5 breaks allowed. It's an open rule book test. It has 100 questions. It can be accessed on NCHSAA Central Hub on Arbiter. You must score 75 or better to be eligible for regular season games and 80 or better to be eligible for postseason games. The on-field clinic has been confirmed for Sunday, April the 18th from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Plan to arrive by 9:30. We will have it at Millbrook High School only. All transfer umpires and umpires with less than 4 years experience with Ron should attend. Contact Ron if you have a conflict with attending. Please wear a uniform, gray slacks, black or blue shirt or pullover, and bring your mask for plate and cage work. The rule we're going to cover in this video is rule number 8, base running. Section 1, Article 1 states, a batter becomes a runner when the catcher or any other defensive player obstructs him. Offensive team can take the result of the play or the penalty. The batter is awarded first base and all runners return to the base occupied at time of pitch unless forced or they were attempting to steal. Obstruction is ignored if the batter and all runners advance at least one base and runners advance at their own risk. At that point, the offensive team does not get their option since the obstruction is ignored. Article 2 states, a returning runner shall retouch the bases in reverse order. As umpires, it's our job to monitor and make sure we watch them touch bases advancing and touch bases returning. If a runner who misses any base or leaves a base too early and he desires to return to touch the base, he must do so immediately. If the ball becomes dead and the runner is on or beyond a succeeding base, he cannot return to the missed base and is subject to being declared out upon proper appeal. And again, the penalty for that, he will be declared out upon a proper appeal. So a missed base or leaving too early is not an automatic call. The defense must properly appeal those two things. Article 6 goes through some different types of appeals. Defense team can appeal missing a base, leaving a base on a caught fly ball before the ball was first touched. And then also we can have a live ball appeal. If any fielder in possession of the ball touches the base missed or left too soon on a caught fly ball, or by tagging the runner committing the violation. Be careful there. Do not award an accidental appeal. My protocol for that is if they're going to appeal something, I'm going to, and the play is not very obvious, I'm looking to have them tell me that he missed the bag, things of that nature. A dead ball appeal. After the ball becomes dead, a coach or defensive player, with or without the ball, may make a verbal appeal on a runner missing a base or leaving a base too soon on a caught fly ball. Runners must be given the opportunity to complete their base running responsibilities before a dead ball appeal can be made. So again, this is one of those situations. They do not have to toe the rubber, step off, throw the ball to a base to appeal. Ball comes in. If they want to appeal runner leaving too soon or a runner missing a base, one thing I like to do is to call time and force it to become a dead ball appeal when possible. That way nothing else crazy can happen during the appeal process. So they can throw the ball in, and I want to make sure I hear clearly from the coach or someone on the defensive team what they're wanting to do. I'll go, time, coach, what are you asking for is what I'll ask them. And then they can say, well, Greg, I want to appeal the runner at third base leaving too soon. Then if it's my call, I make the call. If it's my partner's call and he doesn't know what is being appealed, then I'll go talk with my partner and let them know what the coach is appealing. So again, it's an opportunity where as umpires we can get together if we need to. The important thing is we don't want to have both umpires making a call, whether it's both making the same call and especially both making, if we're making different calls, we don't want to have both umpires making a call on an appeal. Continuing with types of appeals, we can have tag ups. If a runner leaves the base too soon on a caught fly ball and returns to retag, this is considered a time play, not a force play. So if the appeal is the third out, all runners scored in front of the appealed runner and scored ahead of the legal appeal would count. If it's the third out, any runs that scored after the legal appeal would not count. I think that's what letter K is going to talk about. If a base running infraction is the third out, runs scored by following runners would not count. With 2 outs, if the base missed was the first to which the batter or runner was forced to advance, that does now become a force play since they were forced to advance and it was the first base to which they were forced to advance. Then no runs would score. If a runner correctly touches a base that was missed the last time he was by the base, that last touch corrects any previous base running infractions. Article 7 states, a batter runner who reaches first base safely and then overruns or overslides may immediately return without liability of being put out, provided he does not attempt or feint an advance to second base. Especially your lower level schools and games, they may not realize that even if they, after first base, they cross first base, if they go a little bit in fair territory, that's not illegal. So as umpires, we need to know what makes it illegal. If the runner fakes an attempt to second or actually attempts to go to second, he is then at jeopardy of being called out on a proper play, not an appeal. That's where the defense would have to make a play on him and tag him out. Article 8, if 2 runners are on the same base at the same time and both are tagged, the following runner is declared out. So the leading runner is the one who is legally occupying the base. The following runner is not. He is the one who is declared out. On a force play, the runner who is forced to advance shall be declared out when tagged on the base. These are some of the little quirky things that can happen. It's important that we make sure we get the correct person out and we announce the correct person out. The base running table on page 50 in the rule book is a great resource to look through and study and understand. I'm going to highlight some of the important things. So 1 base award for runners. If we have a pitch or thrown ball from the pitcher's plate that goes out of play, that's 1 base for runners from the time of the pitch or the throw. So the one that happens the most is if we have a pitcher on a pickoff move to first base typically, or could be third. If he does not disengage from the rubber, then that is a 1 base award if the throw goes into dead ball territory. If he disengages from the rubber, it now becomes a 2 base award. So it's critical as umpires we observe and make note when a pickoff play happens so we can know how to apply the proper base awards. If we have an intentional catch and carry into dead ball territory, then that is a 1 base award from the time of the pitch. So it's important that we listen to the head coach going through ground rules. In most high school fields, when they get to dead ball lines, typically they play 1 foot in dead and 1 foot in live legal. But if they go completely into dead ball territory with both feet, that now becomes a dead ball catch and carry 1 base award. A 1 base award for batter. If we have catcher's obstruction, right, so Batter swings, hits the catcher's mitt. If we enforce the obstruction, then the batter is awarded one base, and all runners who are forced will also move one base. If we have runner's interference that is unintentional, runner, a batted ball, runner from second advancing to third, and the ball hits him. That's a dead ball. The runner will be out, but the batter will be awarded first base. And if we have umpire interference, hit by a batted ball, then the batter is awarded one base. Two base awards. A live thrown ball or pitch that is touched by an illegal mitt. So we don't see illegal mitts often, but if we determine that a mitt is illegal, any type of glove that's illegal, and it is a live thrown ball or a pitched ball is touched by that illegal glove, then batter and all runners are awarded two bases from the time of the infraction. If we have a live thrown ball or pitch that is touched by detached player's equipment, again, batter and runner, two base award. So those two don't happen very often, but they can come into play sometimes. The next two are the ones that happen most frequently. The first throw by an infielder and the ball goes out of play. That is a two base award from the time of the pitch. If it's not the first throw, any subsequent play by an infielder or any throw from the outfielder and the ball goes out of play, then that is two bases from the time of the throw. So first throw from the infielder, time of pitch. Any subsequent play or any throw from the outfielder is from the time of throw. If we judge an intentional catch and carry into dead ball, instead of a one base award, that now becomes a two base award from the time of pitch. Continuing on that table, three base awards. If we have a fair batted ball that's contacted with detached player's equipment, then that is three bases from the time of the pitch. All right. Now we're going to leave that table for a little bit. There's more information in the table, but I just want to highlight what I find to be a good foundation to get started. Rule 8, Section 3, we're looking at Article 2. When a runner is obstructed while advancing or returning to a base, the umpire shall award the obstructed runner a minimum of one base beyond his position on base when the obstruction occurred. The umpire shall award the obstructed runner and other runners any additional bases that would nullify the obstruction. So if we rule obstruction, the base award is a minimum of one base beyond where they legally were when the obstruction occurred. A very common situation is a batted ball where the runner rounding first base is obstructed by the first baseman. If he's obstructed by the first baseman, he is only protected to second base. Now, depending on how the play ends up working out, if he tries to stretch it to third, we have to then make a judgment. Would he have achieved third base if the obstruction did not occur? So it's not a always this or an always that ruling. It's where we have to understand the rule and be able to apply the rule, and we have to do our job to earn our money on that call. So he is protected just one base, and then we make our judgment beyond that. Article 6 states, when a plate umpire hinders, impedes, or prevents a catcher's throw attempting to prevent a stolen base or retire a runner on a pickoff play, if an out is not made at the end of the catcher's initial throw, the ball shall be dead and all runners shall return to the base occupied at the time of the interference. So again, typically where this happens is a catcher comes up in his attempt to throw the ball, instead of moving forward, he stands up, maybe takes a step back, and as he brings his throwing arm back and hits the plate umpire, and then makes an attempt to throw. If the runner is not out on that initial throw, then we come out behind the plate, we kill it. We call time, we announce umpire's interference, and we move all runners back to the base they occupied at the time of the interference. Right, Section 4, Article 1. The batter runner is out when he intentionally interferes with catcher's attempt to field the ball after a third strike. So the critical part there is we have to judge intent. If we judge accidental, then nothing, there's no call. We have to judge intent for there to be an out. Right. Batter runner is out when his fair fly, or fair line drive, or fair bunt. So fair ball, that's a pop fly, a line drive, or a bunt, and it's in flight. It's intentionally dropped by an infielder with at least first base occupied and before there are 2 outs. And we're going to, as soon as that happens, we're going to kill it immediately, and the batter will be out, and then we'll return runners to the base occupied at time of pitch, or return to their respective bases, as the rest of letter C says. The ball is dead and all runners shall return to their respective bases. So that rule is put in to protect the offense from the defense intentionally dropping a ball. So we need to be careful. If the defense intentionally lets the ball fall to the ground untouched, then live ball, make a play. So they have to we have to see them intentionally drop the ball. So we have to be really careful with what we're watching and what we're seeing. Batter runner is out when he runs outside the 3-foot running lane, which is the last half of the distance from home plate to first base, while the ball is being fielded or thrown to first base. The infraction is ignored if it is to avoid a fielder who is attempting to field the batted ball, or if the act does not interfere with the fielder or a throw. The batter runner is considered outside the running lines if either foot is outside either line. So in order for the runner to be legal, they have to be completely inside the 3-foot running lane, which is that last half of the first base line. And if we are calling them out on that, that is an immediate dead ball, and the plate guy must come out and be loud, announce it, so the play stops. Typically, that's going to involve an excitable play, so there may be some loud cheering and commotion. So as the plate guy, we must come out into the middle of the diamond, time, kill the play, announce what you have, and then all runners will return to the base occupied at time of pitch. Right. So continuing with letter I, the batter runner is out when, on a drop third strike, he gives up by entering the bench or dugout area, or with 2 outs, he does not attempt to reach first base before all infielders leave the diamond at the end of the half inning. So it's a drop third strike, and he stands there and he starts walking back to the dugout. He is not out until he actually enters the bench or dugout area. Section 4, Article 2. Any runner is out when he runs more than 3 feet away from a direct line between the bases to avoid being tagged or to hinder a fielder while the runner is advancing or returning to a base. So a good rule of thumb on 3 feet is a step and a reach. So if the fielder has the ball and he makes a step toward the runner and then he reaches, typically with the glove hand, that's a good rule of thumb to judge if he's 3 feet outside that running line. A step and then a reach for high school players is a good a good starting point, good rule of thumb for that 3 feet running line. This is not an infraction if the runner runs behind a fielder attempting to field a batted ball. So if he's doing his job of trying to avoid the fielder who is fielding a batted ball, then he is allowed to run more than 3 feet away from that fielder so as not to interfere with the play of a batted ball. And then item number 2, when a play is being made on a runner or batted runner, he establishes his baseline as directly between his position and the base toward which he is moving. So the only part of the field that has a distinct baseline is that last 45 feet of the first baseline. Everything else, the runner establishes the baseline directly from him to the base in which he is moving. Right, Section 4, Article 2. Continuing with, any runner is out when he does not legally slide and causes illegal contact and/or illegally alters the actions of a fielder in the immediate act of making a play, or on a force play, does not slide in a direct line between the bases. Right, so item 1, a runner may slide in a direction away from the fielder to avoid making contact or altering the play of the fielder. And then item number 2, runners are never required to slide, but if a runner does slide, the slide must be legal. Jumping, hurdling, and leaping are all legal attempts to avoid a player as long as the fielder is lying on the ground. If the fielder is not lying on the ground, then jumping, hurdling, and leaping are not legal attempts to avoid a fielder. And then lastly, diving over a fielder is illegal always. So the penalty in these situations, the runner is out. Interference is called and the ball is dead immediately. If it's on a force play with less than 2 outs, the runner is declared out as well as the batter runner. And if it's not the 3rd out, then runners shall return to the base occupied at the time of pitch. So most commonly where we see this being applied is the force play slide on the front side of a double play. And that can happen at any base. Typically it's at second, but it could happen at any base. And then Section 4, Article 2 continues to state, any runner is out when he does not legally attempt to avoid a fielder in the immediate act of making a play on him. The penalty, the runner is out, the ball remains live unless interference is called. And then letter D is following up on that statement earlier about diving is illegal. If any runner is out when he dives over a fielder, the penalty there, the runner is out, and again the ball remains live unless interference is called. And so in closing, again, please complete the attestation form at the link below or by using the link in the description box below the videos. I hope everyone has a good season, and I look forward to working with you on the field.